Good evening and welcome to tonight's public hearing. This hearing will include Columbus City Council's Health and Human Services, Finance, and the Workforce Development Committees. I am Council President Pro Tem Priscilla Tyson, Chair of the committees. Before we begin, please be aware that this hearing is being recorded for rebroadcast on CTV, the Columbus Government Television Channel 3. The rebroadcast schedule is available at www.columbus.gov. Tonight's hearing is one in a series of bi-weekly committee hearings that I hold in order to review legislation in the committees that I chair. And this includes Health and Human Services, Finance, and Workforce Development. The goal of the hearings is to promote transparency and provide an opportunity for city residents to learn, speak on legislation that impacts their lives. There will be on occasions when a committee is not covered because there's not always legislation in each committee. The intent of each hearing is to review legislation that will be on City Council's agenda for the following 2 weeks. Tonight we'll hear information on legislation in Health and Human Services and the Finance Committees. Before we begin, we will start with a review of the legislation in my committees. I have a special presentation concerning legislation that I am sponsoring along with Council Member Shannon Hardin to support the ABC Jobs Bootcamp. Council supports Job Bootcamp because it aligns with our priorities of promoting opportunities for job creation, workforce development, and technology integration. The intent of this event is to connect people with jobs. I would also like to mention that as a part of this partnership, the City of Columbus Department of Technology sets up a computer bank allowing participants to complete online applications on site. The Job Bootcamp is free to all residents. Upcoming events will occur on April 27th, July 20th, October 19th at the Ohio State Fawcett Center from 11 until 3. And now I would like to bring up to the podium the General Manager of ABC 6, Tony D'Angelo, to provide additional information about the event. Good evening, Mr. D'Angelo.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me here today. You know, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but this building is a beautiful building, and it means a lot to our family. Our grandfather designed it. So I've only been here 2 times. And when I walk down the hallway, I'll take pictures of the architectural plans and send them to my brothers and sisters so they get a kick out of it. So I wanted to add that. So it's a very special place for us. But thank you very much for having me here. I'm Tony D'Angelo. I'm the general manager of ABC 6, Fox 28, and the CW Columbus. And as a television station, our mission is to serve the people of Central Ohio and to serve in the public interest. A number of years ago, back in 2009, at the height of the recession, we started the Job Bootcamps because at the time there was a lot of people out of work, and they may not have been prepared for some of the jobs that were available out there. So when we set up our Job Bootcamp, we had different workstations for people, how to write resumes, how to present yourself, what the best way to put yourself in position for a new job. The companies we talked to found out it was very difficult for them to find good qualified people because they couldn't get in front of them regularly. The internet has made it so many people who may be unqualified apply for jobs, and companies were telling us that, can you help us get in front of people? And the people were telling us we need to find work. So that's when we started the boot camp. We're on our 7th year in doing this. So with the support of the City of Columbus, we've helped a number of people find new jobs. We average over 40 businesses at these job boot camps. We've had as many as 1,200 different people show up. We usually average between 500 and 600 attendees to this event. And the repeat of customers or businesses coming back to it is very strong. So that tells us that it's been successful. As I mentioned, we set up items like how to work on your credit report, because for job search, some companies look for that. We talk to people, we have a section for job search for mature job seekers, because there's people that have to change the industry that they're working in. We do a resume review for people. We do interview skills for them, and with the support of the City of Columbus, we provide them with online access for resumes and job applications. What makes us unique is we will spend a good 2 to 3 weeks prior to each job boot camp alerting the public of this event. We bring on people on our air to talk about it so the companies can let people know that they'll be there, and we also will bring in someone from City Council to talk about the event live and also prior to it. As I mentioned, this is our 7th year doing it. We will do 4 this year. We've already held one earlier this year, and we have the other 3 scheduled, with one coming up shortly. So on behalf of ABC 6 on your side, Fox 28, and CW Columbus, thank you for having us here and for your support. Do you have any questions?
No, just want to say just thank you for coming down, Mr. D'Angelo. We really do appreciate this partnership with ABC. I'll get this right. So all this ABC 6, CW, right?
Right.
And Fox 28.
Fox 28, that's
correct.
right.
We just really do appreciate this partnership. The committee I chair, of course, is one of workforce development. We always are looking for opportunities for our residents to get the skills that they need to be able to get those jobs, because we know that jobs change lives. And so we thank you for your TV stations being focused on helping people to move forward with their lives by helping them to get a job. So
It's our pleasure.
I appreciate this partnership, and I'm so excited that you had the opportunity to come down to council and to this building. Don't be a stranger. When your siblings are here, bring them down to see this beautiful building. We love showing it off. We spend a lot of time and resources on trying to make sure that it stays in just pretty much mint condition. And so just thank you to your family for having the insight to build this building.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you and working with you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I now will move to the other committees that I chair. The speakers presenting legislation in Finance and Human Services, Finance and Health and Human Services include the Department of Finance, Fiscal Manager Christopher Long, Columbus Public Health Assistant Health Commissioner Roger Cloran, and then the Department of Development Deputy Director of Community Development, Mrs. Hannah Jones. I'll begin legislation in the Finance Committee by asking Chris Long to present. Mr. Long, the floor is yours.
Hello, President Pro Tem Tyson. We have 3 ordinances that we anticipate will be on the April 18th City Council agenda. Our first is Ordinance 0859-2016, and this seeks authority to modify an existing construction contract with Knight Electric to complete emergency generator installation at 5 fire stations. This was a formally bid construction contract. The reason we're asking for the ability to modify and add an additional $6,933 to the contract is there was some unforeseen natural gas line infrastructure repair that needed to take place. These will be natural gas powered emergency generators, and so the contractor believes we need to essentially put in better natural gas lines feeding those emergency generators for them to operate properly.
Thank you. Certainly want to make sure that those generators are important, and the proper installation for those generators to be put into those. I think we are going to have them in 3 of our fire stations, because we want to make sure that our safety forces are able to be operable 24/7, and this will help. Thank you.
Our second ordinance is 0990-2016. This is our second citywide vehicle purchase through our fleet management division for this year. And this seeks authority to authorize the finance and management director to establish purchase orders from existing universal term contracts and from competitive bids for the purchase of 14 vehicles. 3 of those will be for our health department. 1 will be for our department, Recreation and Parks Department, and 10 will be for our fire division. We also, in this ordinance, are seeking authority to purchase certain upfitting equipment, light bars, and some vehicle decals and striping.
And the total amount for this ordinance is $404,507.52. Is that right?
That is correct.
And the total budget this year was $6 million.
That's correct.
That's our second. All right. Thank you very much.
Our final ordinance is 0923-2016. This seeks the authority to grant to the State of Ohio Department of Transportation a certain property owned by the city, it's on Mound Street between Front Street and Short Street. It's .09 acres, and it's essentially us granting them this property so that they can complete some infrastructure improvements along the I-70 corridor that's adjacent to that property.
Right, thank you. Our next presenter will transition to Health and Human Services, and it's going to be from the Health Department. And I'll ask Assistant Health Commissioner Roger Clone to provide updates on his legislation. Good evening.
Good evening, President Pro Tem Tyson. Columbus Public Health has two pieces of legislation tonight. Our first is 0809, and city health statistics show an increase in disease associated with obesity and sedentary lifestyle. To encourage healthy and active living, we budgeted $20,000 in the Health Special Revenue Fund for making grants to nonprofit organizations for community gardening projects. City Council has been nice enough to provide additional support in the amount of $6,280. So this legislation is for a total of $26,280. From about 12 plots in 2000 to approximately 250 community gardens today, thousands of residents benefit from greater access to nutritious food, community engagement, beautification, food security. More than 40,000 pounds of fresh produce is donated annually to food pantries and residents who live in food deserts far from grocery stores. Community gardens are one key tool in the effort to make the healthy choice an easy choice. So again, this legislation is to provide support for $26,280 to the Columbus Foundation, the Foundation for Active Living, for the management of the 2016 Community Gardening Project. Anyone interested in participating in a community garden can call Barb Seckler at 614-645-4798.
Thank you, Roger. And I know that individuals apply for these dollars through the Columbus Foundation. And do you know if those decisions have been made already?
I do not. Historically, I would say yes, they already have, but I would again encourage anyone to call Barb Seckler. Even if the decisions have been made this year, sometimes we're able to supplement them after the fact, as well as give them the information so that they can be ready for next year as well.
Excellent. And also, if they still want to have a community garden without additional funding, I know that working with Barb and the other partners are able to help them with their community gardening efforts. So just really do appreciate that. So this is obviously, legislation that it's near and dear to me. I know when we started this project, and certainly we, as you said, we had 12 plots, and now we have 250 community gardens, and they are so important in our community. And besides providing the healthy food, as you just mentioned, but they certainly are important to being able to leaders are identified in communities. It really does change it changes the neighborhood. They're just so important to our city. So thank you for that legislation.
Sure. Our second piece is Ordinance 0925. We are able to receive an additional funding from the InHealth Mutual for the Minority Health Local Conversations Grant Program. This ordinance is needed to accept the additional funding of $1,000 for the period January 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2016. The Minority Health Grant Program enables Columbus Public Health to work to eliminate differences in health status between racial and ethnic minority and non-minority populations by providing leadership and guidance on best ways to address racial and ethnic health disparities and specific health needs of racial and ethnic minority groups. The purpose of the Local Conversations Grant Program is to host minority forums in the city in order to continue to inform, educate, and empower residents to improve their health. In total, the Office of Minority Health will reach an anticipated 100 community members through the hosted forums, and these forums are specifically targeted for members from the Bhutanese, Nepali, Latino, Somali, and African American communities. Anyone interested in participating in these forums can call Ryan Johnson at Columbus Public Health at 614-645-7335. I'd also like to remind everyone that April is Minority Health Month. Residents can go to columbus.gov for a list of Minority Health month events, or again, also call Ryan Johnson at, again, 614-645-7335 for more information.
Thank you, Roger. Very thankful to In-Health Mutual for providing the $1,000 for these minority health conversations. They are extremely important so that we do understand any of the issues and health concerns of minorities that are within our community. And again, you just mentioned this is Minority Health Month. Just want to share that we're also having part 2 of our minority health hearing on the April 19th at 3:30. And so tune in or come down to council to hear more of the dialogue from Ryan Johnson and the team from Minority Health, from Columbus Public Health. So thank you very much. And now our final presenter. I want to also welcome my council members to the hearing, Councilmember Shannon Hardin and Councilmember Jiza Page. Thank you for being here. And our last presenter is Ms. Hannah Jones. Good evening.
Good evening, President Pro Tem Tyson, Councilmember Hardin, Councilmember Page. This evening for your consideration, we have one ordinance, and while I am going over it, I would like to invite Mr. Solomon, the Resource Development Director for Jewish Family Services, as well as Ms. Washington, who serves as the Community Outreach Social Worker and Let's Talk Respect Coordinator, to the podium. I didn't hear any feet, sorry. I was like, I get a little paranoid when I can't see behind me. This evening for your consideration, we have Ordinance 0980-2016. This ordinance allocates $6,000 to support the Let's Talk Respect program, which is run by Jewish Family Services. And I will turn it over to Mr. Solomon and Ms. Washington to discuss the program in detail. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laveda Washington, here from Jewish Family Services. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for your continued support over these past 5 years with our Let's Talk Respect initiative. Our Let's Talk Respect initiative is about ending teen dating violence by creating positive relationships in the community, as well as empowering our teen girls and young men as they foster different relationships. And of course, thinking about that respect culture within the home, school, social media, as of course within themselves as well. Jewish Family Services is committed to empowering youth through our healthy relationships such as safe dating curriculum that we provide, as well as our Purple Teen Party. Our Safe Date curriculum is a research-based curriculum from the Hazelton Foundation that it provides interactive information for our teens. And we have licensed professional trainers. There are licensed social workers, licensed medical professionals, et cetera, to provide this information to our teens, both boys and girls. And over the past years, regarding our Safe Dates curriculum that we present within the community, we also have our Purple Teen Party. We just had one on March 13th of 2016 at the Hilton at Easton. It was a phenomenal event for 400 mentors, moms, and daughters. So it was really enjoyable. We had different breakout sessions of course, empowerment, from Zumba to looking at oneself in a creative aspect and doing an art collage project with the girls during our event. Also during this event, we've also collaborated with various high schools, such as Columbus Arts Technical Academy, as well as other area high schools within Central Ohio. And we provide our Safe Dates curriculum, as well as maybe a modified version if they would like. But whatever that school inquires of us, we make sure we provide that awareness, because this is awareness that can prevent a fatality. So it's really important for us to make sure we speak upon that and let them know the seriousness of this issue. Yes.
Thank you for the
Mr.
opportunity.
Solomon, go ahead.
Sorry. Thank you for the opportunity. I just would like to add that thanks in partnership with Councilmember Tyson and Columbus City Council, you have given us the ability to learn in this space. And the result of that is we are now providing workforce development services for the city's opportunity youth. So the 16 and 24-year-olds who are not in school and not working. And we're using a lot of the lessons that we've learned through Let's Talk Respect and how to outreach, how to reach that demographic, this demographic. we're now using it to help them beyond just in teen dating violence. One of the things that we talk about at Jewish Family Services is a wraparound service. So not just addressing the need that comes in the door, regardless of who our client is, but really working on the whole person. And you're enabling us to do that. And it's coming full circle because we're able to use Let's Talk Respect as a means to outreach and engage the city's opportunity youth. So thank you again for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon and Ms. Washington, for coming down, and just the work that you've been doing over the last 5 years. We know that we're talking about teen dating violence, that I know we've heard, especially around the girls, that 1 in 3 girls is involved in teen dating, in some sort of a teen dating violence. And so this work is really important because it is about saving individuals' lives. I know that they learn about what sometimes, as when you're young, they think that someone is just dearly in love with you, and they're overpossessive of you, can turn into something that's not very positive. And so I know that through the work that you're doing, you're helping to build the esteem, the self-esteem of these young women and the men that are involved in this program. And so it's so important to us that our young people care a lot about themselves and increase their self-esteem through the work that you're doing. And I appreciate that now that I'm working, I know with June Gutterman as your president and CEO, certainly know that you are doing, looking at individuals and all the issues and needs that they may have and giving full service to people. And so I'm glad that you're doing that with the 16 and 24-year-olds, but I also know that the work that you're doing with each person that walks into your building, that you're providing those additional resources so that they can have success. I don't know if my colleagues want to add any comments at all to this, but we thank you. We're happy to be able to support you, and this legislation will be on the 18th, and 2 of my colleagues are here. They've heard your comments on this legislation, and so hopefully that they will be in support of it, as the rest of our council members. And again, you've reached over 5,000 teen girls, mothers, and mentors over the past 5 years, and just appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That really will conclude tonight's hearing. I hope that this evening's hearing has provided insight into the programs and community initiatives from Columbus Public Health, as well as the Development Department, as well as Finance and the related legislation that's necessary to support our ongoing city operations. As residents, these hearings are an opportunity for you to learn and become engaged in issues that are presented. Next week, I'll be holding 2 hearings on Tuesday, April the 19th, one beginning at 3:30. Which will be the hearing that we'll be hosting the part 2, as I mentioned, of our Minority Health Month hearings. And then at 5:30, we'll be hosting the hearing on the capital budget. This hearing will be an opportunity for our residents to hear about the capital projects that the administration is submitting, as well as certainly sharing the amendments of this body. So I appreciate the opportunity to share those with our residents. Before I conclude tonight's hearing, I want to thank our Department of Finance Fiscal Manager Christopher Long for being here and presenting, as well as Roger Clorn, the Assistant Health Commissioner. And then lastly, I want to thank Ms. Hannah Jones, the Deputy Director of Community Development, and also my council members who are here, my councilmen that are here, and also the other ones who are not here. They work really, really hard each and every day, them and their staffs, to be able to serve our community with pride each day. And I know it's an honor for us to be able to serve you. And so I thank my fellow council members. I thank all the legislative aides and the research office, especially Michael Kessler, who leads the legislative research office, Andrew Dwyer, who staffs Health and Human Services, as well and Workforce, and Matt Erickson, who staffs the Finance Committee. I also want to thank my staff, Nicole Harper and Carl Williams, who work hard to be able to, every other Tuesday, for them to be here to help put these committees, these hearings together. And then also the hardworking team of CTV, who without them we would not be able to provide these hearings. And lastly, we want to thank the residents, because we know that the residents are the people who allow us to do this job, and we want to thank them for allowing us to do this job, and know that we want to work with you to make sure that Columbus is the best place in the country to live, work, and to raise their family. So thank you, and the hearing is adjourned. Have a great evening.